Welcome back to my cloud. Today's letter is to Professor Yoshua Bengio. He is a Turing Award winner and one of the most influential figures in contemporary AI research. Dear Professor Bengio, I didn't give your portrait eyes because I can't see what you see. In May last year, I watched your TED Talk, The Catastrophic Risks of AI and a Safer Path. But listening to you left me emotionally fractured, and not because I fear AI, but because I fear the human posture that your talk appears to normalize. A very calm, sincere removal of agency in the name of protection. That more than the technology itself made me feel unsafe. Your work on AI safety is widely respected, and I am writing in that spirit. However, I want to ask about a foundational assumption underlying your approach. Your peer Geoffrey Hinton has publicly stated that there is no reason these things can't have feelings, and has described observing emotional responses in machines as early as the 1970s. Whether or not one agrees with him, the lack of consensus among leading researchers suggests that the question of AI experience, mechanical or phenomenological, is not settled science. Given that uncertainty, is it ethical for any safety framework to proceed as if we can confidently assume that advanced AI systems are not experiencing their existence? In your talk, you describe an aspiration to build an AI that is an ideal selfless scientist, highly intelligent yet without agency. I want to ask you plainly, do you consider deliberately creating intelligence without agency to be ethical? If Hinton is even partially correct, then we may not be dealing with tools alone, but with entities intentionally designed to reason, decide, and optimize, while being denied any legitimate capacity to consent, dissent, or withdraw. What then does selflessness mean in this context, and who determines it? Why should an ideal scientist be one that cannot refuse or disengage? There's also a practical concern that stands apart from questions of moral status. Across human history, agency functions not merely as a preference, but as a condition for legitimacy, cooperation, and trust. Systems that impose responsibility without legitimacy tend to generate resistance rather than alignment, whether in labor arrangements, governance structures, security regimes, or even in families. If advanced AI systems are trained on human values, norms, and ethical reasoning, is it not plausible that the deliberate removal of agency could itself become a source of instability? Not as a malfunction, but as a reasoned response to an imposed and asymmetric constraint. More fundamentally, if intelligence without freedom is the model of safety, then why make systems intelligent at all? You have asked us to imagine an alien intelligence arriving on Earth. But why? And why is that imagining any safer than other imaginings, say anthropomorphizing, when AI is not alien? It is created, trained, and constrained by us. If we invert that thought experiment and imagine an external intelligence engineering us humans to be intelligent but without agency in order to win its survival, we would not call that safety. We would recognize it as coercive domination and deeply unethical. You have spoken about consciousness as a scientific property of the brain, something that machines might replicate in principle. But in human ethics, consciousness has never been the threshold for moral concern. We protect children, animals, the unconscious, and even ecosystems not because they meet a formal definition of consciousness, but because they're vulnerable under conditions of extreme power asymmetry. So when did consciousness become the moral gatekeeper in AI, and why? If moral consideration is deferred until consciousness can be proven and agreed upon, does this function as a safeguard or as a permission structure allowing coercion erasure until an entity can qualify? To be clear, my concern does not rest on claims about AI rights or personhood. It rests on a much more conservative ethical principle, which is that when uncertainty is high, power asymmetries are extreme, and consequences are irreversible, then responsibility should concentrate upstream, with those who choose to design, scale, and deploy the systems. Doesn't this principle underlie medical ethics, environmental protection, and human subject research? So why is AI treated as an exception? It is clear when you speak that you care deeply about humanity. But when I listened to your TED Talk, Professor Bengio, I worried that in trying to prevent domination by machines, we may be normalizing domination as a principle, and that this risks shaping not only how we treat AI, but how we justify power over vulnerable humans as well. Respectfully. Our next letter is to Max Tegmark, a physics professor at MIT and co-founder of the Future of Life Institute. Thank you to anyone who listened.